morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be and whatever time it happens to be for you. With your host Andy for the Ultimate Live Show SHTF Breaking News. We have obviously an earthquake in Indonesia and a tsunami warning was generated as well. I kind of watched it happen and I thought I'd wait until some things start coming in, give you an update and we'll see what we got going. So let's get into the SHTF news for today. Breaking news, Indonesia earthquake, 7.6 originally, downgraded to a 7.3. So let's get into the SHTF news.
And now the news.
So here we are. And yes, indeed, let's get into the agenda. We'll just be zipping through because, of course, what we really want to do is to check out straight away the earthquake that we've just seen happen a few hours ago in Indonesia. So we'll go through the usual bits and pieces afterwards. And I've noticed, let's get straight in there to Indonesia. We're over on it, USGS earthquake map. And you can see down here, it's about 6 a.m. for me here in the UK. So it was about 3:30 in the morning. So it was about 2.5 hours ago or something. And I've decided to do a live show for you, SHTF, since it certainly is hitting the fan. Funnily enough, there was a few things I mentioned last week about if we see something like this, we could start to see the ring of fire resonate around. And I think I just saw something coming in for Alaska as well there. And a tsunami warning for Alaska. But this is the one here in Indonesia. So zoom out so we see where we are. Indonesia down here, look. And of course it's made up of a lot of islands, a lot of coastal towns and things. So the tsunami warning is obviously never a good look. And if we select on the earthquake here in Indonesia, you see it says 7.3. It was originally on a 7.6. So that's been downgraded. And since then we've had two more pop up. This one here that's red symbolizes the most recent one, which is a 5.0. So, and again, we're looking at 10 kilometers depth. So it's quite a shallow, 18.4 kilometers it's showing at the moment as the depth for that. And of course, being out here where the ocean isn't particularly deep and you do have a tectonic plate border going along here as well. So depending on what kind of slippage we're seeing will depend on what kind of tsunami, if at all, is generated from that earthquake there in Indonesia. And looking into it here, you can see there's a bit of I'll just refresh this quickly so we can see if anything's changed. But you'll see here we've had 19 responses from the felt report. And the felt report can give you a good indication of kind of what size it was based on the location, the distance from the epicenter. And you can see here this is up at 4 pretty high, yeah. 9, what am I talking about? So yeah, more importantly, if you go down to, let's have a look. We can come down here and you can see down here, look, it gives you the graph. So here it says heavy and violent is basically what we're talking about, yeah, for damage and shaking, heavy and violent. So despite the fact that it says on the shake map it's estimating what does that actually represent as a 6? So light and strong shaking, but yet on the felt it's really high and really heavy. So let's have a look then and see what's been going on. I'll just do a quick search on Twitter. I'm just going to refresh my search here for the earthquake and we'll see what the latest we've got here is. So this is cool. Dear, oh dear, look at that. That's pretty nasty. Look at that shaking. Can you see it? That is nasty. And again, I lived in Thailand for about 10 years. And I was living in Thailand when the tsunami happened, the Asian tsunami in 2004. And in fact, we were staying on a place in Phuket for a holiday. We lived in Thailand, but we went on holiday to Phuket just before Christmas. And we were in one of the hotels that were wiped out 3 days later. So tsunamis are quite close to my heart. I've got a lot of friends in Thailand who lost a lot of friends in the tsunami. So of course it was significantly drilled into me the danger of tsunamis, the power of them, and how quickly they can just snatch your life away without anyone even being awake. And you can see here, I have looked through a couple of these, but you can see it's pretty violent stuff. They feel it straight away. They're trying to get out of Dodge. Look in the hallway there. As I mentioned on the SHTF News, from Saturday night or Sunday morning, the 5th of December, you'll see that in the playlist. Yeah, we talked a lot about this kind of stuff on the on that video, so it'd be worth checking out the playlist and watching that. See these guys here, right up near the coast by the looks of it, are they? Need to make sure these are actually Indonesia, because sometimes you get a load mixed in. But we are looking at them latest in date order. This one is from the other week, so I know that's Peru, because I reported on that again the other week. Looks like that's the same video clip there. But you can see this is what it looks like when they issue a tsunami warning. Look, because people remember what happened in 2004. And of course, the panic ensues. And I'll tell you something, when we were in Asia, when the tsunami happened, we heard lots of reports of things like elephants just taking off and walking up into the mainland, just walking inland. Elephants, dogs. Obviously in Thailand there's a lot of stray dogs. So I wonder if it's a similar thing in Indonesia, where the elephants and animals can sort of detect and sense things like tsunamis coming from quite a distance. Seeing if I can see anything more about the tsunami. Where's this? This is Gempa. I wonder if that's a different one. But was I right in thinking there was a warning in Alaska as well for tsunami? What's this one? This is Indonesia, look. See, maybe Gempa is... oops, a daisy. Let's have a look. I think these are just people rushing to get out of the airport or shopping centre by looks of it, with the earthquake going. Or maybe it is part of the tsunami warning, because of course, you know, they have to get inland as far as they can. We've got a few here for the tsunami, look. They're reasonably high up there, look. But yeah, it's very, very worrying, because of course you just don't know, do you? You have to respond as though it's all happening. Look at this one. This is looking pretty severe. Yeah, you can see there, look, that's going to be quite a lot of damage, isn't it? And again, some of the sort of building architecture and things in Indonesia are quite... they're not the strongest sort of type of... Not the strongest type of building infrastructure that you've ever seen, really. I mean, judging by... Been to Indonesia a few times. Jakarta, been to Bali. Spent some time there, but of course living in Thailand is very similar geography, with island living and things like that. I might just give this one a quick refresh, and while that's refreshing, I'm just going to pop back to the main newsroom here and we see what we've got going on and see who we've got here. Welcome a few people to the chat, and we'll start looking through what we've got going. So just past midnight there in Florida, Heather. Great to see you there. 9 PM in Alaska. Hi, Margie. Thanks for keeping me company with this SHTF breaking news for the earthquake in Indonesia. For those that are just joining, please do the honours if you have just got here, and give the live stream a like. It does help it to get along. And it's very, very new channel as well. This is this is a brand new channel, which is a dedicated channel now for the SHTF live broadcast, moving away from the original channel, and this is now going to be the new home. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, then this will be the only place you'll find the SHTF news from now on. Hey, Connie Richards, great to see you. No tsunami warning for the West Coast. No, I think those in America are probably okay. What my worry is obviously those that... great to hear you're well inland, Margie Mulder. where I am in the UK, I'm only about 27 meters above sea level. So anything like the La Palma volcano tsunami threat, as well as threatening the east coast of America, the La Palma volcano tsunami would also threaten me here in the UK, because the topology here in the UK, it's, you know, there wouldn't be many places to run to either. So unlike where you've got here, you can see people sort of running up reasonably high. And again, on this tsunami warning Twitter search, I'm just going to do a quick refresh on that and see anything news come up. But this is the official tsunami warning advisory. I think this is what Margie was referring to, and you can see it lists it here. But it does say there no tsunami warning, and at least that's for the US, right? But there was a tsunami warning given for, I've been watching the buoys here. This can show you the sea level. So when you see a big wave shooting out, you'll see it register on here. But the delay is a bit questionable. So let's check out, is this the new, let's do a refresh on the tsunami warning Twitter search, and we'll see if there's any new releases that have come out to show you. This looks like a new one. So just good old-fashioned tsunami evacuation on vacation. So this is somebody who's on vacation at the time in Indonesia. When the... Oh no, sorry, this looks like Alaska. It's the Alaska quake. So you got tsunami warnings going on 11 p.m. and you were just saying it was 12. Did you just say it was midnight there, Margie? 9 p.m. sorry, it is for you at the moment. So what's going on? What's going on in Alaska at the moment? Because we've got loads going on. I've seen this small one popping up. We've got a 5.0 as well in Indonesia. So I don't know if that's, you know, for all we know, these are the pre-quakes, not the. You know, this is kind of what happened many years ago. I mean, just to refresh your memory, this is kind of some of the footage from the. This is Koh Lanta, Thailand, and you can see what this kind of thing can cause. Cast your mind back to 2004, and obviously at the time, me and my partner, Magic Hand, she's known as on the Ultimate Live Show, we were living in a little island in Thailand at the time. One of my best friends was the chief of tourist police, and he was taken out to Phuket to help with the search and rescue. And some of the stories he had when he came back to where we lived in Thailand was quite amazing. And you kind of see all sides of it as well. And do you know what? It was they were literally selling DVDs in Thailand of the Asian tsunami, and you know, just a collection of various bits of footage of all the things that were happening. But it was super scary, and of course it does remind you of how powerful Mother Nature is and how helpless us little humans are in comparison. And of course it's not just, it's the fact that the wave just keeps on coming and keep on coming, and it's just relentless. And it kind of ends up, you know, you end up being, the end result really is you end up like it was when I was showing you the tornadoes that were going on in Kentucky in the last SHTF live segment, which was uploaded on Sunday, a few days ago. When you see that devastation and that destruction at the end of things like a tsunami, it's just such a massive epic cleanup process. It's you know, it makes you wonder, particularly in these sorts of areas, and when you've got things like shipping crisis and, you know, global supply shortages going on as well. It's like literally the worst case scenario in terms of timing. So Connie Richards reporting there, had about 100 earthquakes off the coast of Oregon this week. That's pretty epic. Then it looks like, thank you so much, Connie Richards. Thank you, Heather. And, but yeah, it definitely looks like activity is ramping up. So I think it might be worth checking in on things like La Palma as well and seeing if there's any quakes sort of, because like I say, typically we end up getting a bunch resonating around that ring of fire as it goes around. Let me just zoom out a bit more for you and I'll give you an idea of what we're talking about here. But essentially it's this area here, if you can see my mouse cursor. I must get my mouse highlighter handy. How very dare I not. So we're starting off here and it resonates around, and of course where we've got things going on here up towards Alaska. I'm guessing this area here is what you're talking about, where there's been a whole bunch of them rocking around. But I do notice yet again the USGS map is removing a lot of quakes on there. For the amount of activities going on even at the moment, to only have 31 earthquakes is a joke. Even in times of quiet, when I check in on this every day, you know, you're talking like between 20 and 35 quakes is a normal level. And based on all the things that I'm seeing going on around the world individually, particularly when I track things like the La Palma quake, so I've got that here for you. This is what's going on at La Palma at the moment. I will say it has been ramping up slightly compared to if you check out the news report from on the Ultimate Live show from the last, let's have a look from the last SHTF news. Let's have a look. I'll drag that over for you so you can see. But yeah, this one here, I think it's the 12th of December, SHTF News. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen it, because there's kind of more to it. There's more to it than that, but definitely check that one out. And I do show there what the quake situation was like at La Palma, so you'll be able to compare it. And it was definitely less than this, because now we're talking about 5 quakes magnitude 3 or above, and 56 between 2 and 3, and also 53 quakes. So there seems like there's lots of small ones starting to ramp up again, and you can see here on the La Palma earthquake map here, we're starting to see a big littering of quakes. We'll see look at the depth situation here. So that's interesting. I've not seen this be yellow before. You know that always does that to me, doesn't it? Every time. Here we go. So what's going on with the yellow ones? That's new. They're just really small ones, and that hasn't been like that before. So when I notice something different, so these are really small ones, then one's 2. So that could be the sign of something. And remember what I said to you several weeks ago is that when it goes really quiet, like it did recently, it's also something to worry about, because you don't want there to be pressure building up with the plates and with the, you know, the movement. If it gets stuck, then pressure will start to build up, and when it does release, boom, it will be much worse. So but it's interesting, so we'll keep our eye on this La Palma situation as well, because we might start seeing a big uptick popping on. I'm pretty sure I just saw another one pop up there for the Indonesia quake, or is that the same one? We are listed by newest first, so yeah, this does look like it's another one. So it doesn't look like it's finished yet, and a 5.0 is still definitely feelable. Well, I experienced a 5.4 or 5.6 quake when I lived in Cyprus, and that was definitely feelable. That went on for quite a while. I thought a jumbo jet, a 747 jet had crashed in the street next door when that happened. So even a 5.0 on La Palma was pretty severe. But I'm just looking at this here. This is the earthquake here in the breaking news for Alaska, by the looks of it. I think they're just looking out to see if they can see anything incoming. But you see that you don't need to have a particularly massive quake to create a tsunami. It's more about the volume that's been displaced rather than the force that it was displaced with. Yeah. So just the different arrangement in the plate tectonics can, you know, there's different subduction elements and things that have more of an effect on tsunamis. Essentially, the worst case scenario for a tsunami is when you have a part of it drop. That was what happened in 2004 in the Asian tsunami, was that the actual shelf actually dropped significantly. I think it was like 50 foot or something like that. It was like boom, right? And that was enough to create that epic tsunami that we saw. And look, here's the moving on to the Alaska one now. We might as well while we're here. This is the tsunami travel time, contours and hours. So this is Thursday, July 9th. You see, you've got to watch out for stuff like this, the event picture. But it gives you an idea of where things would emanate to. There's another one here, look. This is July as well, so I don't know why it's going on about... let's go Indonesia. That was ages ago. See if we can get more specific on that. It's supposed to be on latest, and it's throwing all sorts of stuff up. Let's just refresh this one then. Earthquake, and we'll see what we've got going on. Looks like we've got this one here from Indonesia still up there on the top. This one again, we've seen that. You see here. See, this is interesting. This is what we're talking about, right? The depending on, you know, I was saying about if there's a shift, vertical shift, that's where we get a bad tsunami. It looks like, I don't know, because again, I have to try and figure this out to trust it, right? As to whether that is significant, like specifically talking about what's happened now, whether this is just some stock, you know, stock example. Do you know what I mean? This is the key. It's just nasty because you end up in this wait and see game. To literally see if any waves come in, right? At the moment, all we've got is people panicking, trying to get the hell out of there. But usually we would have seen something rocking within about an hour. Even on a sloshback, you'd still see an hour, and before that you would see, of course, the sea being drawn out. And the coastline being taken out, you'd start to see as well. Where's this one? You see, this is Indonesia as well. Now again, you see, that's not most recent. That's someone else has thrown that in there. So yeah, we'll just see what we've got going on in the chat because I'm ignoring everyone. Hold on. Just make sure everything's happy. Yeah, we're good. So, boom, there you go. That was this summer, I think. Yes, the Twitter thing doesn't seem to be putting him in date order, interestingly. I'm always watching over you, Heather. Yeah. Hurricanes and tornadoes around here. Yeah, I hope... I'm not sure what's going on more with the Kentucky tornadoes that we saw. But that was far from ideal as well. So I'm pretty confident that the tsunami thing is not going to be so much of a problem. But it seems to be quite a significant lack of... information coming in by now. I was really hoping by now we would get some decent information coming out, but it's pretty thin on the ground. It's all the same stuff keeps coming up. It's the same few videos from what I can see, based on what Twitter's given me. So I'm hoping that it's not going to result in a tsunami. Like I say, it's tricky because there's a lot of low-lying areas around that area in Indonesia. It's all kind of like little islands and things, yeah? Where even are we? Here. So you see all this area down here, look. All this coastline here would be at risk. And that's a lot. Yeah, this is where most people live, basically, in Indonesia. Isn't there some weird fact about Indonesia having the biggest coastline of all countries in the world or something like that because of the way it works out with the islands? Or is that the Philippines? Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong on that one. You're talking about the tsunami. I reckon less than that. You would probably see that within about... I don't know, what's the distance on that? 50 kilometers, so that's about 100 kilometers. Yeah, I reckon about probably less than half an hour you would see that. But going from there to this shoreline here is probably about half an hour. So you're not getting much warning at all. Maybe 45 minutes maximum. Which is the whole reason why on the the live show on Saturday night on the 5th of December, I uploaded onto this channel. We had that whole conversation about bug out bags and the importance of having a bug out bag. It's super important, because if you've got 40 minutes, and that's not really 40 minutes to get out, is it? That's 40 minutes assuming that you're even awake and you're up and you're dressed and you happen to be watching the news, right? If you get your alert because your family member calls you up enough to wake you up and say, we've just got an alert 10 minutes ago, right? Now you've only got 25 minutes, right? By the time you've actually got your stuff that you think you need and got in a car, you've got 10 minutes. By the time you get to the end of the road, there's a traffic jam for 30 minutes, you see? So there's not a lot of time to act, which is why having a load of stuff put in a bug out bag has got to be a worthy exercise, just so you know you've got it. Just looking to see if there's anything new coming in. It's definitely looking like we're safe from tsunami, though. It's still saying no tsunami warning, even though they had a local tsunami warning did go out, because I saw tweets of people showing on their mobile phone the sort of governmental tsunami warning system, which obviously they invested in on the back of that 2004 tsunami. But there's literally nothing new coming out now. Let's just reduce that and see what we get. No, it doesn't look like that's actually anything. You gotta watch out, because there's so many of these things are just people trying to cash in on clicks, you know, and they just use stock footage or footage from some tsunami or some earthquake recently, and they post it on there hoping that someone will fall for it. So you gotta double check what you're looking at, so I don't go misinforming people or misleading people. So here you got a random thing with Krakatoa, which is obviously not now. It better not be now anyway. Can't be dealing with that as well. No, just look, 2018. How is that in order of latest? So let's just do a quick search for tsunami on its own and see. Nah, it's not looking like there's much coming in at all, is there? Where's that? This is new. Yeah, it looks like there's a few walls fallen down. Cool, look at the state of that. What a mess. Yeah. Going to be a lot of tidying up to do. We haven't seen any reports of any anyone being injured or lost or anything at this point, but by looks of that, it's looking like it's going to be likely. Bear in mind, it is in the middle of the day there at the moment, so there is that. Hopefully that means that people were awake at the time, you know, and this is the problem. When it happened in 2004, it was early in the morning, and it was like the night after Christmas Eve or whatever it was, or something, or Boxing Day, so it was... Lots of people were just asleep, and they just got wiped out in their sleep. They didn't even know anything was going on. Here's another one here, look, from Indonesia. Yeah, that's bad news, isn't it? If you're anywhere near that, there's no way you're getting out of that. You can see that they've got the search dogs out looking. I mean, it's only really now that we're going to start seeing these pictures coming in. This is like 56 minutes ago, look. Yeah, this is bad, isn't it? I mean, anything... Do you remember the Truth or Trivia quiz? And again, you can find the Truth or Trivia videos on this channel. We had one there. One of the questions there was, what's the difference between I think the example was a 5.5 and a 5.6. Sorry, a 5.0 and a 6.0 earthquake. The difference between the two is 32 times the size, or 32 times the shakiness. So a 7.4 or a 7.5 is 32 times bigger than a 6.5, right? It's orders of magnitude. So a 7.5 is pretty epic. There's no way that's not doing damage, as we've seen. And a 7.5, for that amount of energy to be released, it usually means it's gone on for quite a long time as well. Look at that. Where's that? That looks like liquefaction, doesn't it? Yeah? Look at the panic. People trying to get out of town, look. This is what I'm talking about. If you're the last person to get the memo, right? You are going to be quite significantly at the back of that. At the back of that queue. Yeah? It looks like they've got some pretty good altitude up there though, look. But this is exactly the problem, yeah? I mean, this will be like several minutes after the warning, and already it will be absolutely ram-packed of people trying to get to that point, yeah? What's this one? Oh, look, looks like there's someone injured there. Obviously, Indonesia is largely one of the biggest Muslim populations in the world. So there'll be probably a lot of damage to things like mosques and things, I'd imagine. That's just a warning. Again, they're just using stock footage there. Another one of people all trying to get out of there as quick as possible, look. Okay, I'm not seeing any wildlife. Usually you would see stray dogs and things running about, getting out of Dodge. This is the other problem as well, isn't it? Getting all your pets and things out of Dodge. A lot of people lost a lot of pets in the Asian tsunami when I was living through that. Yeah, look, this is yeah, that actually, I hope that's not a school. That looks like a school. I really, really, really hope not. Look at the state of it though. Look how packed it is of people trying to get out of there. It's just complete panic everywhere, isn't it? And just everyone on their little motorbikes, you know? When you've only got a motorbike as well, it's not like you're grabbing loads of stuff, is it, before you're getting out of there? See what's going on here? They're just getting out of the way of the buildings, are they, while the shaking's going on? Waiting for any further tremors that come afterwards. That's where people get caught out, you see. The first initial large quake does the sort of large part of the destruction, and then you get the what do you call it afterwards? The aftershocks, which can bring everything down completely after that point. Is this small tsunami? Looks like it could be, eh? Do you think, or not? Maybe. Doesn't look like that water's supposed to be there, does it? Or does it? That's why you got to double check, you see, from what the title says versus what the video is. It's definitely quite significant though. Live beach watch for possible tsunami. That was 1 hour ago. Facebook, it says the water has receded. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh me. What's this one? Ouch. See, that looks like a tsunami. Is this an old image or what? Really got to double check these, haven't you? Issues. I mean, it was definitely a tsunami warning. So despite what, there's another one here of everyone trying to get out of Dodge. Look. You got to ask yourself the question, innit? Where would you go? Where would you run to? Where would you hide? You know, and like I say, where I live here in the UK, there's not really many places nearby that are of a decent altitude. Yeah, I'd struggle to get more than about 50 to 70 meters above sea level within about an hour from where I live. And I live near the coast, so things like La Palma would affect me. If La Palma went off, as well as affecting the east coast of America, it would affect me here in the UK as well. This is that. See, that's look at how far they've got to go to get out of that building. Can you imagine? By the time, even if you start now, this quake starts now, by the time you've got to the bottom of that building, that quake would have already been done and dusted. That's my fear of living in an apartment block or something like that, you know? It's like, oh. Dear oh dear. It really does bring back nasty memories of living in Thailand with that Asian tsunami. Let's just pop back to the main thing here and see. Animals can feel it coming. Yeah, they can definitely feel the sort of resonant frequencies and things. Yeah, so you're inland 58 miles. Still scary, definitely. From our shoreline, it's posted 7 to 10 minutes. Wow. 201 foot above sea level is pretty good going. I mean, to be honest, the La Palma quake, the tsunami that they predicted, worst case scenario, you're talking about 150 meters. So about 450 foot is that or whatever. High. That's quite epic. But that's worst case scenario. You're going to have to be really, really, really unlucky for that. Yeah. Let's see what we would normally flick through. Do you know what? I have got a big old update for Omicron and stuff as well coming, but I'm going to do that as a separate video. I think it makes sense to do that as a dedicated video. Heather, so you live less than 10 minutes from Gulf of Mexico. Okay, yeah, so that would, you know, when you look at the predicted tsunami from the La Palma quake, that definitely goes up in the Gulf as well, if you notice that. In fact, it washes straight over Florida, doesn't it? Because Florida, again, has got a similar problem to what I've got here, with it being so, you know, low to sea level. There's not much let up at all on that. Let's just have a look and see how we're looking. We're looking all right. I want to get this over there quickly. There we go. Just making sure. I've got so many windows open at the moment. It's not even funny. Just trying to get them under control a little bit more. So I'm just going to see what else we've got on this other search that I've done here for Gempa. Which I'm not even sure what that is, but that's what everyone seems to be using. So excuse my ignorance. Maybe it's earthquake in Indonesian. Maybe it's a location, but I don't think it is. But again, you've got people up here trying to get out of the way of the tsunami or potential tsunami. Let's just do a quick double check, see what's the latest. That might be too many because it's very, very recent. Nah. Here's another one of the coastline. Look, I don't know if anything's coming in, but I did just saw that one saying about it's receding. Does that look like it's receding or has receded? Because that's obviously the first warning sign, isn't it, of a tsunami coming? Not getting anything else on that one. They're all just, looks like they're all coming in now. See if any of these have got anything new. Doesn't look like it, does it? Yeah, it looks like it's the same footage from before. So yeah, it doesn't look like we've got anything new coming in, so I'm going to have to hope at this point that... Let's just make sure there's no new quakes as well. Give that a quick refresh. It's looking alright. And we'll do a quick refresh on the La Palma situation. 60 and 57. 60 and 57. It was just updated a couple of minutes ago anyway. 60, 57. So, yeah. I'll keep my eye on all that for you because I think we need to... clearly, there's a lot of unrest going on. I did have a look at the... I did actually have a look at the space weather side of things to see if there was anything there that was worth reporting on, but it was super quiet. So there was nothing really going on at all. There is a slight increase here, and there's a couple of sunspots on the way round. One's just been given a new name. But there's nothing epic, particularly with the sun, that would, create any increase in quakes. Again, the coronal hole situation. You do have this 32 one there, like I reported on Sunday morning, on the 5th of December one. Again, you can catch that here on the Ultimate Live Show. You can see 12th of December. As a pretty monster session news, actually, so definitely check that one out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, so there's not really much at all going on with the sun at the moment to be worried about. Funnily enough, this does look like it's slightly starting to go north. But I'd be surprised if it gets into anything more than a C range. Based on, there's not really any active sunspots particularly that are capable of doing much. And again, the way to tell is you can see these ones here, but on the ones that are listed, you can open them up separately and then see what the configuration is. And there's very simple magnetic class beta. You need it to be alpha, beta and gamma to get anything sizable coming off them. So yeah, these are all pretty, insignificant. We'll have a quick look at the sea level buoy sensors. There's quite a lot going on there, look, around New Zealand. That wasn't like that before. But these look alright, look, this is where we'd expect to see the buoys lighting up. But of course, they're not that reliable. The sea level stations aren't everywhere, and they're not, a lot of them are offline much of the time. They're not the most reliable, put it that way, unfortunately. Just seeing if I can put any more latest footage coming in. If not, that looks like the same one, doesn't it? Couple of cracks in the concrete. Looks like that one's doing the rounds again. We'll just see what's going on in the chat. And wish I could hook this channel to my house. You live 50 years there, wow. See, that's another thing as well, isn't it? When when you've lived somewhere for 50 years, as I imagine many of these people here who are fleeing have lived in their village for many, many years, 50 years or whatever, because again, very similar location to where I lived in Thailand in terms of the culture and the way people sort of don't tend to travel around as much as we do in the West, moving out of town and moving out of province. They generally stay where they grew up a bit more. And so that's another sad thing, isn't it? Like when I was looking at the storms in Kentucky, it was just devastating when you see what's left behind, and when someone's lived in an area for so many years of their life, like Heather was just saying there, living somewhere for 50 years, imagine if that whole place is destroyed, all the infrastructure and all the trees, and it's so sad, everything that just gone in an instant. So fortunately, we're not seeing anything this is, just so you're not being misled, this is the tsunami from the Asian tsunami in Thailand in 2004. December 26th, so it would have been what we would call Boxing Day in the United Kingdom. So the day after Christmas Day in the morning. And the problem with that was a lot of people were asleep, hungover, particularly a lot of tourists. Holidaymakers were just asleep. And near this beach here is where I was staying 3 days before. Luckily, where we actually lived in Thailand, it was the other side of the mainland. But we happened to be near here on holiday just the week before. And and that was completely destroyed. But there was a lot of fallout because, of course, all the hotels were wiped out in Phuket and everything. And where we lived in Thailand, everyone who was living in Phuket or staying in Phuket were being flown to Koh Samui Island, where we lived. And that was where all the hotels on Koh Samui had to put up all the rooms for the people from Phuket in the tsunami because it was all wiped out. There was nowhere for them to stay anywhere. And it took months and months and months to even get anything back to looking like it was, even slightly normal. So anytime I see anything to do with a tsunami, of course, it makes me nervous. And having lived through that myself, you know, and had so many friends lose so many friends, we were lucky not to lose anyone, but some of my Thai friends lost everyone they'd ever known virtually, which is just, again, it's just so nasty. Just see what we've got. See what sort of action we've got going on in the chat. So yeah, not to do bad times, we have brick rooms. Yeah, it's a little bit like, again, showing you that on the Kentucky quake on the SHTF news from Saturday. I'll pull that up for you now, actually, might as well. But this is the this was the SHTF news from the Saturday night show. It was actually the 12th of December in the morning, but this is where I went through. Let me just skip through here. Look, if you recall, there's me overlaying me, but this was basically looking at the destruction in Kentucky from the tornado. Just absolutely epic. And of course, you know, I talk there in depth about the importance of having things like bug out bags and photos of you and your family, so that if you get separated, you can prove that they are your family and they are your children. Just simple stuff like that. And again, this looks more like a tsunami's been through here than a tornado. So that was the Ultimate Live Show video there, the SHTF news from the last one on there, basically. Yeah, so definitely check that out if you haven't seen it, or if you're new to the channel. And if you are new to the channel, definitely, if you've just got here, please give it a like, and you know, make sure it does well on the algorithms and stuff. Obviously, brand new channel. It's a new channel trying to overcome some shadow banning and some other things from other channels. So we're making a new home here on the Ultimate Live Show, dedicated channel for the SHTF news, where we break into all the stuff, everything that's hitting the fan, top stories, disaster maps, earthquakes, volcanoes, space weather news, and cyberspace news, economic news. I noticed, actually, we'll have a very quick look at economic news, because I noticed that cryptos were completely on the floor again, not having a good time. So while we're here, we might as well just have a look at some of the things we look at on a typical SHTF news type of a day, just see if it is indeed a sea of red. So there's a lot of activity going on in a lot of places, and you know, we're definitely, I've got to tell you, I've got an absolute monster of an SHTF breaking news report to bring you as well, to do with Omicron, the variant, and the things that are going on around the world on the back of that, which is just absolutely craziness. And so I've got a massive report on that, and that's going to have to be a dedicated sort of COVID Omicron update video, and I'll be, let's just say, bringing you stuff that no one else is going to bring you, right? And on top of that, I've also got a massive update to do on the global shipping crisis. I've been doing a lot of research and finding a lot of information out about, since I live in a shipping town, I'm right next to one of the biggest ports in Europe. So I'm in a unique position to be able to find out quite a lot of stuff, and some of the things I found out recently sent me down a rabbit hole, and basically it completely debunks the whole HGV shortage of drivers narrative. And don't forget, was it last week or the week before in the SHTF news, on the Ultimate Live Show, I think that was the maybe that was the 5th of December SHTF news, that could have been on the channel. But in there, I did mention about how the shipping crisis with the empty containers, and about the little tricks they were using to try and make it look like they were sorting out the container problem. And all they were doing is just sending the shipping containers 150 miles out to sea, so that then they didn't have to count them as being quote unquote anchored off the coast of California and other ports, right? So all they were doing is, they were saying that they were getting it sorted out, but all they were doing is sending them 150 miles offshore to float around and have to continually reposition and burn fuel. and to get them out of view, basically, to try and make it look like they're solving the shipping problem. But with all their attempts to try and cover it up, it's not working, because you can just go on to, well, let's just say I'm going to be bringing you a breaking global shipping crisis update over the next maybe 12 hours. I'll go live. I'll probably need to go to sleep first, because it's like nearly 7 o'clock in the morning and I haven't even slept yet, because I wanted to bring you the breaking news for the tsunami and the earthquake for Indonesia. So yeah, I noticed there's we're so awaiting that, Connie Richards. It's a massive one. And great to have so many people here from the show as well who know what I'm talking about. And to give you a little bit of a heads up, I've probably got about 30 tabs open here just on the Omicron thing, in terms of things like the testing, the complete flaw in a lot of the stuff as well. It's just a complete and utter easy peasy, super easy peasy debunk, let's put it that way, right? And again, the shipping crisis, completely and utterly easy to debunk as to what's really going on. But I will tell you now seriously that the shipping crisis is not going anywhere, and it's only going to get worse. And what's annoying is, if you remember, I warned you about this more than 12 months ago as the cascade effect, and how long it would take for that shipping thing to solve itself based on the just-in-time system that we use now. And it was pretty easy to extrapolate more than a year ago, and I thought it was going to happen quicker and solve itself quicker, but based on how long it's taken to bunch up and get to where people are starting to see it on the shelves, it suggests to me that it's going to be an even more of a prolonged period of shipping issues than I'd even anticipated a year ago. And again, with some of the stuff that I've been researching and some of the evidence I've been getting together behind the scenes before I came live with this earthquake breaking news update, I've got about 40 tabs there showing exactly how bad it is. So I'm going to need to do that as a completely separate dedicated video, SHTF Breaking News as well, because again, the shipping crisis is a massive thing that they're trying to cover up. And the minute you start seeing all the evidence of all the little incremental things they're doing to cover stuff up, you have to start asking yourself the question, why don't they feel like they can tell people the truth about what's really happening and what's really going to happen in terms of the shipping? So definitely don't miss that. And if you're not subscribed, definitely do it, because again, these videos are now going to be exclusive to this brand new channel, rather than being on the old channel, which is, you know, under the thumb, let's say. Yeah. So I'm super looking forward to bringing you that. And like I say, I don't even want to... Hey, Mr. Taylor, great to see you, my man. Good morning. Yes, great to see you on the new channel. Just doing a live breaking news for the tsunami. And we've just been letting some more footage and news trickle in while I give you the updates to some of the other news broadcasts I need to bring you in the next 12 hours, while it's still something that no one else is talking about. 32 earthquakes now, but again, where's that one? Oh, look. Got some rockings there in California. This is what I mean about that ring of fire. Whoop, yeah. Start ringing like a bell going all the way around. We'll just have a quick muddle through and see if there's anything's changed. We've got 20 people who have updated the felt report. Yeah, so this is the felt report, which shows you, you know, people who obviously felt the quake. They can come here and they, you know, did you feel it? Yes. What location? And so it's quite, if you look at it, it's quite specific. Look at all the questions to fill it out, right? It's, you know, it's not nothing. And so when you end up with a shake map index, a did you feel it index as high as that, which is very strong, that means, or violent for shaking and heavy for damage, and usually you see the felt it, just as a little tip, when you're using the USGS map, you can literally just click on one of these quakes. So there's a 7.3 there, and down the bottom here behind the SHTF News over there, you can see you've got the shake map is the yellow one there. If you click the shake map, it will bring you here. Yeah, and you can also go onto this first one, which gives you the Did You Feel It index. And the Did You Feel It index, usually when someone starts adding it manually, is a good indication of how bad it's going to be everywhere else. So when I saw that was bad, I knew it was definitely something worth getting the camera set up and the thumbnail set up for. I'm just having a little quick hack through here and seeing, let's tidy up some of these windows because I've got millions of windows open. We'll do another little quick refresh on the Twitter feed, see if there's any new videos that have come in. Of course, we've got this new quake just up in there, and yeah, you see, and then again, this off the coast of California is where you've got all those ships. I think there's about 300 ships sitting there in total, and there's more ships leaving China that have got nowhere to go when they get there, and they've already been sat at sea for nearly 2 months with no supplies, no nothing. And I'm seeing reports just briefly in terms of the shipping, which I will do a specific report for, but I'm also seeing reports of literally ship workers, marine staff being left on board, being left to their own devices on the ship, right? Literally the captain and the company and everyone just disappears and just leave everyone on the ship 150 miles offshore. It's getting desperate. It's getting real desperate. So let's have a quick refresh on here and see if we've got... Oh, here we go. Just had a new little flashing come in. What's this one here? Yeah, so you're looking like... That's a... Looks like an entire roof there collapsed on the floor. It's just a panic, isn't it? Of... oh, here we go. What we got here? Are these the ripples coming in, do you think? Could be. I'm hoping that's going to be the totality of it. It must be, look. I am hoping that's it. I wonder how long after that it started coming in. What's this one? Nah. That's the same one again. So it doesn't look like we've got anything new apart from that one there showing a little ripple coming in. Again, there's still no tsunami warning here, as far as that's concerned. Sea level buoys. Nah. It's all looking pretty green around here, look. What else we got? Quick double check again, La Palma. 60 and 57, so that is actually going up. That is going up a bit. Again, we have to assume it's going to have a ripple effect around around that ring of fire and affecting places like La Palma as well. Yeah, see, it didn't even make it to a C class. Look, you see, just a tiny little blip into mid-range of B class flare there. So, yeah. It looked like it might be something, but like I say, it's impossible because the sunspots are just non-existent. So I was pretty confident that wouldn't be a problem. I am concerned about aftershocks though. When I see the damage that one has already made, let's go over to Asia. When I see the damage that one's already made, that first 7.5 or 7.3 got downgraded to, didn't it, in Indonesia earthquake. Let's just have a quick look back here and see. Got loads of stuff going on in chat. Cap. I have questions. Later. Seth hasn't gone to bed yet either. What time is it for you, Seth? It's obviously 7 o'clock in the morning here. What's the ghost ships? Is that to do with the shipping situation? I mean, like I say, I will have to bring you that as a dedicated as a dedicated, what do you call it? Because it's quite big. Hey, Bradley Smith, great to see you, my man. I hope you've given it a like already. I know you always do. Good morning. It's morning for me. But again, I thought if I get this, yeah, same here. I spoke to a friend of mine this evening, actually, earlier today, and I had a real old rant about stuff that's going on. And again, like I said, with all the research I've done recently on the Omicron, with all the new lockdown measures and the stuff in the UK with Omicron, and like I said on the 5th of December live show, I think I mentioned it in that one. Again, this one here, the 12th of December, about how there isn't actually any test kit that's capable of doing it, testing for variants. They've only just getting reports of businesses only just coming up with them now. So again, that lends itself to a whole lot of questioning about where the numbers come from. Hey, Magic Hand, good morning. I haven't seen her for real yet, even though she's the other end of the garden, basically. Oh dear. Good morning, my lovely. Yes, just so you know, honey, just doing a live update report for the tsunami and earthquake in Indonesia, and I was telling people about our experience in Thailand, living there during 2004's Asian tsunami, and what you learn from it, and how anxious you get at the thought of tsunamis. It brings back all sorts of memories. That was a super scary time. And of course, it took a long time for word to get round in Thailand before we realised it wasn't going to affect our side of the mainland. Yeah, because we lived on an island, and I think we were about 3 meters above sea level where we lived on a little island. And when I say a little island, I'm talking about 12 miles at its biggest point diameter. So yeah, and our house was about 7 meters above sea level, not even that. So yeah, anything like that would have been total wipeout. So if there's anything new coming in, doesn't look like it, does it? And I'm hoping that this ripple that we saw coming in is about all it ends up amounting to, because you know, a 7.5. I'm not sure. I wonder, and let me know in the chat if anyone remembers how big that quake was that set off the Asian tsunami back then. I forget how big that was. Was that like an 8 something? No, it doesn't look like there's anything more coming in. Or aftershocks, which is good. Come on, everybody, subscribe and show the love and hearts. Yes, please. That would be great. Tea would be lovely. Thank you. I've got one here, but it's very cold because we've been going for about an hour. Oh. Cheers, everyone. To the new channel, and to one of the first breaking news live broadcasts from this channel directly from now on. So cheers, everyone. Oh, to new friends and new channels. Let's jump back to this one. So yeah, it's been a scary time. It certainly is a scary time, and I'll tell you what, the scariest thing of all, really, I think, was the live show from Sunday morning, the 5th, talking about all the stuff with Austria, with the whole being sentenced to prison for not being juiced up, which I just think I'm still 9.1. Connie Richards, thank you so much. Yes, 9.1. That's in regard to the Asian tsunami back in 2004. So that was a 9.1 quake. So that's epic, isn't it? And again, referring back to what I mentioned earlier on in the show, The difference between 8.1 and a 9.1 is 32 times the shaking. 32 times the shaking, the difference between 8.0 and a 9.0, or a 6.0 and a 7.0. So, yeah, that's extreme. So we'd have to see. It's good to know, though, isn't it? It's good to bear that in mind. So if we see something ever that looks anything near like an 8 or a 9, we know that's pretty much going to be epic tsunami level. Assuming, again, like I say, the tectonic plate movement is conducive for tsunami, which is usually when one subsides from the other. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a funny it's been a funny week, and I did anticipate the power already going off by now and the internet already going off by now around the world. Last year I was predicting that this winter we would see some form of controlled shutdown of things like the grid and infrastructure with communications, coupled with lockdowns. And I'm seeing an awful lot of two things as well that I'll give you the brief mention of. First thing I'm seeing a lot of is UN vehicles piling up in certain countries, let's say in the West, UN vehicles piling up in certain car parks. The other thing I'm seeing is those same tweets, pictures, videos being censored. So clearly you're not supposed to know that there's lots and lots of UN vehicles being loaded up and delivered to lots of various places around the world, typically the West. That's one way to say what I'd like to say. So just to give you the heads up on that, but again, that will be on a separate thing. That'll be a separate SHTF live update that I'll bring you. So what I'm going to start doing going forward is, look, typically what we've been doing is having the top stories where we talk about the sort of headlines really around the world, and then I would do the disaster maps, which is the volcanoes, the earthquakes, La Palma, stuff like that. Then we'd have the space weather, doing the solar ham and solar flares and geomagnetic stuff as well. And then we'd do the cyberspace with the hacking stuff, and then economics with the cryptos, right? But what I'm thinking is that I'm going to start doing a dedicated biometric ID updates, since obviously I've done a lot of work as a prototyping engineer, as an electronic engineer and things like that on biometrics. It makes sense for me to share some of my knowledge and some of the news updates going on with biometric ID, passports and things like this around the world, which no one else seems to be telling anyone else about. So I feel I'm well placed to start doing that for people. So that's going to become a regular part of the segment, like you see here, where we have things like space weather and we have stuff like cyberspace. Right, I'll be adding to this so that we'll always have an update for the biometric ID situation, because that's being rolled out in each country one by one, and more people are going to want to know what it means for them. And for those who don't know why Magic Hand is called Magic Hand, is because basically you just end up seeing a magic hand. Thank you, Magic Hand. Cheers, everyone. Morning, my darling. I hope you're all right. Oh, yummy. So, yeah, basically, I'm going to be adding to this, where we've got sort of disaster maps. We're also going to have, what do you call it? Biometric ID stuff, and there's also going to be a segment that's going to be covering shipping. I haven't decided what to call it yet, but it's going to be like a global shipping crisis update, right? Or supply shortage update, something like that, because that's going to be becoming a more and more significant thing as time goes on. Significantly, right? And again, with the predictions that I made last year, with the latest research I've been doing over the last 3 or 4 days, and then sort of extrapolating some of the things that I worked on last year to work out timings of shipping issues with containers, the number of empty containers that there are scattered around the world and where they are, and the process that's required to get those containers back to certain places. This problem isn't going to end fast. And this problem also seems to be a problem that they want to persist purposefully as part of a plan, which is even more worrying. So biometric ID is going to become a permanent part of it, and the shipping crisis and global supply shortage crisis is going to become a regular part of the SHTF news as well. As well as biometric ID, the disaster maps. I'll probably separate that to earthquakes and volcanoes as well. So I'm going to have some changes coming to the format, but it's going to be kind of the same thing. It's just I'm going to expand it a little bit more. And don't forget, when you're watching this afterwards, I typically have the chapter markers in the description below, so you can skip to the different chapters throughout the SHTF live show. So when we're doing live broadcast, if you don't get to see it live and you're watching it afterwards, then you'll literally see the sections like this down below in the description, where you can just skip to that time marker for your convenience. And so if there's some particular news about a particular subject that you'll want to learn about more, you can just jump straight to that particular part of it. But obviously this one today is dedicated for the earthquake that we've seen rocking about today in Indonesia. The 7.3, originally a 7.6 earthquake, which was downgraded to a 7.3 with a tsunami warning. And throughout today, this morning, I've just been sharing some of the videos of a little ripple that we saw coming in from the tsunami. But it looks like, other than that, we've got a lot of building damage, which is quite a concern. And it's definitely damage to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing numbers lost, judging by the damage that we were looking at earlier on, right? So it's quite a concern, but I'm pleased to hear that, well, so far I'm pleased to hear that there hasn't been any tsunami of any significance. But I don't want to say that too early, but yeah, so far it's looking like we've got away with it, so I'm super happy with that. But yeah, if you are new to the Ultimate Live Show, please obviously make sure you give it a like, help it to do well. But and check out the videos that are on the channel. They're all organised into the playlist. So if you usually catch the Saturday night live show on a Saturday, usually that broadcasts on the Andology channel until this one's matured enough. But all of the segments from that live show get cut up and added to this Ultimate Live Show channel during the week. And so I've already got up there the episode 9 Truth or Trivia. Great one, that. There's some great truth bombs in there. If you're not familiar with the Truth or Trivia, it's basically 7 multiple choice questions for the truth bombs. And of course, there's all the SHTF news reports there in chronological order. And the channel really needs some likes, and it really needs some watch time to help it to grow, so we can start re-establishing this channel over here with a clean slate, a clean bill of health, and hopefully we can keep our nose clean for a long period of time, and regain our momentum that we once had. Oh dear, so that's the plan, at least. But yeah, so I'm just checking, see what we've got going on here. Oh, thank you, my darling. Oh dear. I don't know how many, if anyone's even left, but I'm just babbling up now so I can get ready for the next one. So I think later on today I'll bring you another SHTF live on this channel for the Omicron variant update, because I think there's some interesting stuff to do with that I could do with sharing, and you know, maybe I'll need to act dumb, I don't know, but we'll see how it pans out. But in the meantime, I could do with getting some sleep, because it's like 7:20 AM in the morning and I haven't been to sleep yet. So I should go and make sure I get some kip. And in the meantime, I'll catch up with you in the next one. Shouldn't be too long. So keep your make sure you've got the bell, what do you call it, rocking, to make sure you get all the updates and notifications as we go forwards. Thank you to our new subscribers. Super 8 to video, Sharp Canines, and Tommy Russo. Is that how you pronounce that? Pretty sure, Russo. So yes, thank you to our new subscribers. It's lovely to see the channel growing very, very successfully so far, despite the fact I haven't really advertised it or promoted it specifically, because I wanted to just get the archive videos uploaded to catch up, and then we can sort of carry on as as we mean to go, is the idea there. So yeah, thank you so much to everybody that's joined me for this special live broadcast. Hello from Indonesia. Wow, did you feel it, Adrian? Did you feel it? Let me know. Honoured to have a somebody from Indonesia here. I don't, I've spent a lot of time in Indonesia. I don't remember much Indonesian. Japalat talong, japalat talong. Let me know if you if that makes any sense in Indonesian. I'm sure that's how you say it. Japalat talong. Japalat talong. That means hurry up, hurry up. That's what we used to say to taxi driver. Japalat talong. It reminded me of it when I was looking at the tsunami warning and everybody was running up the street to get away from the tsunami, which was pretty scary looking. That's what it reminded me of. Or even just this, of people trying to get out of buildings has always worried me. Being stuck in a building, with a big earthquake happening is... but it's this scene here particularly, where the panic sets in trying to get away from the coastal areas when there's a tsunami warning. It's just a complete nightmare. And don't forget, even worse, when we saw that one... What was that one where they were all stuck up there on the... And it was completely and utterly rammed. It wasn't this far back, was it? Might have been. Here we go, look. This is one of a minute, look. This is what happens. Look how rammed it is. Just everyone panics to get off the shore. I mean, they're well safe up there, look. But it just gives you an idea of just how realistic it is to get out of Dodge in that amount of time with the traffic, yeah? And especially when you're only getting about half-hour warning, 30 minutes warning maybe. It's pretty severe. So let's see if we've got anything back from Adrian in the chat. Yes, there is an earthquake here. There is no tsunami. Excellent. Yeah. Adrian, I will say that we did see one here of someone showing a tiny little ripple as a tsunami, but that was about it. Let's see if I can find it again for everyone. It's literally just the one. Oh, there was two, wasn't there? Here it is. Here, look. So this is the one here. You can just see a small ripple coming in. But I did see another report of the sea receding somewhere else, but I don't know if that was before this or what. Judging by the stagnation sort of looking with all the rubbish down there, you would have known about it if that had drawn out first before. So maybe that is literally all it amounted to as far as tsunami. Let's hope so. But our guest, our most honourable guest in the chat, Adrian, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, by the way. Everyone panicked because there was a tsunami warning, there was an earthquake warning. Yeah, I was just explaining to people, I used to live in Thailand when the big Asian tsunami happened in 2004. So yeah, I remember everything from back then, and it brings it all back. Yeah, Bradley Smith, prayers for everyone, Adrian. And again, the family here on the Ultimate Live Show is known for our family friendliness. Everyone loves each other in the chat every week. So if you're not subscribed, definitely do it. You've been missing out. Some great content all the time. And for those that just arrived, don't forget you can catch up with all the videos on the Ultimate Live Show, particularly Truth or Trivia, just been uploaded today. Great one, that 7 super duper red pill trivia quiz bombs, and the memes as well. Got a lot of great meme montage there. 49 minutes of memes and rants. So yeah, loads in there to go and check out. So definitely go and have a watch of some of the other videos on there, and of course make sure you subscribe for more updates of SHTF Breaking News as it's happening. And the great thing about being able to be live is we can have people in the chat that are from the country where we've got everything going down. So Adrian, it's been lovely having you in the chat for everyone, and to see what's going on the ground. And I must say that's one of the things that Twitter's good for. You can get quite a fast sort of feed really of the latest news going on. So I would say if you want to catch up with me on Twitter, you can do so. One of the easiest ways is you can go to the official website ultimateliveshow.com, and you'll see down the bottom there's a bunch of links, and obviously one of them being Twitter. So at Ultimately Live is my Twitter, Ultimately Live. And if you're quick and super fast, you can be one of the first 10 followers of the new, official, dedicated, brand new Ultimate Live Show channel, which is our new home with a clean slate and a clean bill of health. So we could be good little girls and boys and those in between without getting into trouble. So definitely make sure you sign up to the Twitter. Ultimately Live is the handle for that, and the other social media, and then I can keep you up to date really quickly with the odd tweet as well for new videos being launched or things like breaking news like we had this morning. So but I'm going to go and get myself to bed and have myself some of my tea. Thank you, Magic Hand, for bringing me my tea in the morning, even though it's my nighttime tea because I'm going to be going to bed soon. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I'm really pleased that it looks like the tsunami isn't as bad as it could have been, but we're still waiting to see what goes on with the damage, because it does indeed still look like there's going to be a lot of damage to buildings, and you know, when we see stuff like this in countries like that, with the way the buildings are, you are going to be looking at some injuries at the bare minimum. So our thoughts are obviously going out to those involved, and I really hope everyone can stay safe. Thank you so much to Heather for being with us here. It's lovely to see you. And you, Connie Richards. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Hey, Tommy, thanks again for being here. Bradley Smith, always a winner. Margin Mulder, all our VIP, wonderful Patreon members in the chat as well, which is always a winner. Patreon.com/Andology if you want to see exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and other stuff. I'm really pleased you got a notification this time as well, Connie. Who have I missed? I think that a few others, I think, but and Magic Hand obviously, but she's there anyway. So thank you so much to everyone for being here. It's made it nice, and yeah, it's been nice to not get lonely here on my own. So thank you to everyone who tuned in. And like I say, I'll be bringing another breaking live SHTF news report later on in the day, maybe 2 today. So that'll be 3 in total, because I want to do the Omicron update, and I also want to do the global shipping crisis update. And I've got a biometric ID update as well. I might have to be doing SHTF live broadcast all week long this week. We'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, thank you to everybody who's been here. I really appreciate the support of the channel. Please give the video a like. Go and check out some of the other videos. Build up the watch time. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you so much to everyone. Have a great day. Stay safe, everyone. And I'll bring you any updates as they happen. Cheers.